Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
The star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
She was, as woke as they are.
She just sounds bitter and angry.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Rachel Zegler, she's an asshole.
You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up.
Spend 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
And, you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
A few lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old IP. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
What if one outspoken actress managed to sink a Disney classic before it even hit theaters? That's exactly what happened with the live-action Snow White. It was supposed to be Disney's next big hit, a huge budget, a beloved story, and expectations of a box office smash. But things didn't go as planned. Instead, it turned into a major flop, and Rachel Zegler found herself at the center of the backlash. This wasn't just a typical disappointment. It became a PR disaster, made worse by a lead actress who upset fans early on.
And to constantly say things that are just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it. They can never have enough of it.
People weren't just annoyed. They were outraged. From the moment Rachel Zegler criticized the original Snow White and made bold statements in interviews, it was clear she wasn't looking to honor the classic. Instead, it felt like she was trying to rewrite it with a tone that rubbed fans the wrong way. Disney thought they had their perfect modern princess. She could sing, had the look, and even had a Golden Globe to her name. But as soon as her casting was announced, backlash exploded. One viral comment summed it up. Snow White is supposed to be pale as snow. That line sparked a firestorm online, one that never really died down.
Fans accusing Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
And just like that, the fairy tale ended before it even began. Instead of bringing Disney magic, Rachel Zegler stirred up controversy. People expected a kind, respectful take on the role, but what they got felt more like a lecture. From the start, there were signs of trouble. By 2022, the Snow White remake was already struggling. COVID delays and a costly set fire had slowed things down. But instead of helping the situation, Zegler made it worse. Most stars would have played it safe, smiled for the cameras, and supported the film. Not her. She openly criticized the 1937 classic, the very movie that helped build Disney's legacy.
These big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword.
It's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
They have been making this film for a very long time because it's just been so scandalized. And so they had to basically put it on ice after people were first off firstly outraged by Rachel Zegler speaking ill about the prior film, the film that she was remaking. And it's such a weird thing for their whole pitch as feminists to be is like the best thing you can strive to be as a man. Everything will be great once we just act exactly like men. There's nothing special about being a woman. Let's just be men. It just doesn't feel like we're winning.
So no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Who the hell are you to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut? Like, who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney? I've read your book, and I have. It's a phenomenal book. You're losing generation of loyal viewers. When you think about Snow White, what is the premise? What is the story?
It's a love story. It's a love story.
It's a dream for a girl to grow up and a man falls in love.
I'm really upset that it's the biggest theme here is that it's anti-men. She called him a stalker.
Zegler didn't stop at criticizing the original Snow White. She went as far as calling the prince a stalker and slammed the classic for being anti-men. Fans weren't just annoyed, they were furious. The backlash was swift, with comments like, "Who does she think she is, trashing a childhood classic?" But Zegler didn't back down. In interviews, she proudly announced that the new version wouldn't focus on a love story, but on the independent woman storyline. Fans didn't want a preachy reboot. They wanted classic fairy tale magic. Her attitude came off as entitled, like she was too good for the very role that made her famous. Meanwhile, Disney's PR team had to be scrambling. Then things got even worse. Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones called out Disney for their use of dwarfs, and just like that, the 7 dwarfs were replaced by CGI creatures. Zegler jumped in, acting like she'd single-handedly ended the stereotypes. But behind the scenes, little person actors felt robbed. "She's out here preaching while we're out of work," one viral comment read. And when leaked pictures of the new creatures came out, they looked like cheap knockoffs.
She's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress, she should get paid for streaming, for every hour she has to wear the dress. I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds.
They got even crazier, and they decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
These are roles made for actors of my stature. I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or the George Clooney roles, because that's not for me.
Right.
And now it's taken away. I don't feel that's right.
Did the dwarfs make it or no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, "Why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards." And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, "Okay, we're going to add magical creatures."
This process now where it's like in order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines, completely destroy franchises. I don't believe in that. I don't think that consumers believe in that either.
You're rich. We're not. We're trying to be extras, or, we're in Johnny Knoxville's Jackass if we're lucky. And so for them, they're like, you're not going to cast us to be inclusive and progressive. But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright. They're not that smart. And we see that because they can't come up with any new IP.
Not entitled to call for Trump supporters to be harmed. Like, you are actually not entitled to do that. And so let me just remind you, Rachel Zegler, of what the map looks like, just so you can understand when your Disney movie is coming out, how many people you are wishing harm upon. Like, this is America right now.